for him?
I played him in the last round. We drew at the Star City Legacy Open in Indy midway through last year. He was obviously playing Elves at that point as well. He currently is playing the list that Matt Nass top-aided Grand Prix Denver with. Luis Scott Vargas also playing it at that tournament. It's eschewing the mirror entities of older lists for a Crater Hoof Behemoth kill with natural order backup, so you can just sort of natural order Crater Hoof Behemoth kill people without much.
Oh wow!
Actual
So
combo.
there's 3 natural orders in the main deck of this deck.
Right, Progenitus in the sideboard, not the main. Let's see what else has changed. There's 1 Lateral Elf, 1 Findhorn Elf, and 4 Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, so that is the accelerator in this deck.
JD on the play is the 3rd seed with a Tundra.
Who do you like in this matchup? Do you think the Esper Stormblade has the tools to pick apart Riley's Elf combo deck, or do you think
Green Sun Zenith for 0 finds a Dryad Arbor? I think, according to Chris Anderson, Elves is favored. I believe Riley is someone who's experienced enough that should hold true. But JD definitely has the tools to win between Stoneforge Mystic and the Supreme Verse in his deck.
This is definitely going to be a good matchup. This is the type of deck that you play an Elf combo deck to be like you're definitely doing something more unfair, but you're not doing it at a speed that leaves you vulnerable to.
You're in this like sort of turn 3-ish range where you're slower than the fast combo decks. But you're faster than the aggro decks. And the reason you slow down a little compared to, say, Storm is because...
So JD has 2 Stoneforge Mystics in his hand.
Sometimes. So, yeah, he's opted not to Stoneforge Mystic, which is interesting. Elvish Visionary going to resolve. Riley draws a card.
So, yeah,
he's a Misty Rainforest.
When you say Elves is a turn 3 combo deck, that's a little bit deceiving.
Yes.
Based on what Riley is actually planning on doing.
Correct.
This matchup is likely going to grind him out. One of his best cards is this Elvish Visionary.
To go with a Wirewood Symbiote to draw a bunch of cards?
Yeah, if he can draw a bunch of cards, outdraw. It also prevents an active Umazawa's Jite.
Yes.
Or a Batterskull from gaining life.
Though the Batterskull life gain is not a huge difference because the Elf deck does approximately infinite, if not actual infinite, when it goes off.
Yeah.
This one's not capable of full-on infinite. And yep, Swords to Plowshares on that Elvish Visionary from JD. Very much respects the power of it. Quarterfinals Ranger from Riley left behind. Yeah, it's a turn 3 combo deck that does not have to turn 3 combo.
Yes, and so imagine when it's under no pressure, it's very difficult for it to turn 3 through disruption.
Right.
But when it's faced with disruption, it plays a normal slower game. It kind of grows its board, so slower and slower. It does not use the key card in this Elf deck is Glimpse with Nature.
Yep.
But when under disruption, it does not draw 30 cards. It draws 3 to 4 cards.
Yeah,
which is still
Ancestral
Recall.
Yeah. Stoneforge Mystic comes in, likely finding Jite. Yep. Riley's list does not have a main deck answer to Jite.
Now, a lot of times you see, other than the Wirewood Symbiote, which is kind of de facto,
Viridian Shaman, no Harmonics,
right.
No
you see a lot of
Mage.
Yeah, you see a lot of given it's a deck with Green Sun Zenith, you often see a lot of naturalized effects like that. Viridian Shaman being my favorite because it is an elf.
Yeah, there's benefits to Pride Mage. You can kill things like a Moat, which this current list is actually not completely cold to. We figured out there's some corner cases involving getting all your Deathrite Shamans active.
Yeah.
Glimpse from Riley. Does that resolve? JD looking at...
It looks like a Vendilion Click,
it's a Judge promo Vendilion Click. It's a Force of Will being cast in that Glimpse. JD drops to 18. Riley looks at his hand. This looks like a very good draw from JD's side. Yeah. All the tools that he's going to need to win this
swords, a force, a Stoneforge.
Yeah. Actually, this Quarterfinals Ranger, as of right now, holds off the Jite.
Yeah.
There is a Dryad Arbor that is a forest that can
Mhm.
block and be returned to his hand.
Yeah. So Korean Ranger, a bunch of these elves do a bunch of different things. A lot of have cards move zones and untap.
Green Sun Zenith for 2, presumably Elvish Visionary.
Yeah.
Could be Priest of Titania as well.
Nope. Visionary it is. But Korean Ranger is an elf that you can return a forest you control to your hand to untap a creature.
Yeah. So usually that's used on tapping Priest of Titania, Llanowar Elf.
Mm-hmm.
But returning
replaying a land that you play.
Returning the forest, if you're missing a land drop, can also lead
Generate
to...
a mana, yeah.
Yeah, generating a mana. Effectively hitting your land drop for that turn.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and if you can get that plus another activation of say a Llanowar Elves, it's basically like 2 mana.
Yeah.
And if we get into Priest of Titania territory, it's a ton of mana. There's only
More
one
than
copy of Priest of Titania.
Right. That card got a lot worse as Show and Tell got worse. And specifically as Show and Tell Emrakul got worse. Mm-hmm. The play used to be that your Priest of Titania would trump when they'd pass with an Emrakul in play. Because they'd pass and then they'd die.
Yeah.
But because that's no longer a real threat, Riley has a Gaia's Cradle. Jite comes down. Wow.
So I think Riley's actually saving up for a pretty big combo turn.
Potentially.
It looks like he has plenty of elves to cast. They don't really do much in play, so he's saving them for if he draws a Glimpse of Nature.
Yeah, and if Jite starts getting counters, he might be able to get into a situation where he runs out before running out elves.
Yeah.
Or just starts throwing them all in with a Glimpse to try and power through. Mm-hmm. Though if a Jite gets active, it's a little bit awkward. I mean, I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do in that situation necessarily.
JD will definitely, Riley will definitely block with the Dryad Arbor, return the Dryad Arbor with the Korean Ranger if JD lets him.
He also has a crop rotation at hand to set up the same play. So if the Ranger
that only
dies,
works for 1 turn.
Right, but it gives him 1 turn to get out.
Yes.
I believe, Dryad Arbor does not trigger Glimpse, worth noting. It is not casting a spell,
right.
you
have to
putting a
cast
land
the
into
creature,
play.
yes.
Yeah, it looks like Riley's just a little flooded there. Stoneforge Mystic just getting in there, not equipping. Riley dropping down 1.
Kind of, I guess if JD has another a Jace.
Supreme Verdict sweeps the board. Dryad Arbor is saved by the Curran Ranger. Stoneforge Mystic also dies.
Yeah, that's some pre-verdict is quite premature in my opinion.
I don't know. I think it clears away a board that, it looked like JD had another Stoneforge Mystic, so that just lets
Riley
him start.
wants 1 creature in play apparently.
A Heritage Druid. It effectively gives all his other creatures haste, so. Lingering Souls prevents Riley from doing any sort of bounce shenanigans with this Jite. And is there a flashback? There's an equip. So, Riley Curran effectively on 1 turn to win before this Jite gets online and starts locking him out. And it looks like his hand is all land.
Yeah. Okay, he has a lot to do.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like he has a creature in his hand, so we can start up with a Glimpse next turn.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed he did because it doesn't play like all that many lands and he wasn't missing land drops, but apparently
18 lands in his deck, 1 of which is a Dryad Arbor, 3 of which are Gaia's Cradles. Yeah, this list is quite heavy on the Gaia's Cradle complement, 3 of those and a crop rotation.
A lot of other Elves players say that Gaia's Cradle is one of their best cards.
Very easily.
In the deck, and drawing 2 is bad, but having 1 is so important.
Yes.
They're kind of hedging a little. Instead of just playing 4 Cradles, they're playing 3 Cradles and a crop rotation, which can have some of the same thing. Interesting to note that there's not a Pendelhaven in this deck.
So is that a Green Sun for a Visionary here?
I believe it is.
Going to attempt to draw something out of this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure quite exactly what.
Yeah,
but I
Riley might
assume
be
that,
in trouble fairly soon here.
Yeah, I mean, if he draws another Visionary, he could get into a position where he, like, Visionaries, like, next turn draws a Glimpse, draws into Visionary. Natural Order. That could do something. I do not believe we've played a land this turn.
Yeah.
So
Has
we
not.
can Natural Order up a Regal Force.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, Natural Order. Sacking the Visionary? I may have sacked the Dryad Arbor, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Craterhoof Behemoth.
Craterhoof Behemoth.
Plus...
So that's going to allow the Dryad Arbor and the Heritage Druid to, they each get +3/+3. And here they come.
I don't know if that's the one I would have gotten. I think I would have gotten Regal Force.
Yeah, it's basically drawing 3 cards versus attacking for...
Non-lethal.
Non-lethal, yeah. It's definitely
Into
non-lethal.
a Lingering Souls.
Into an equipped GT.
Yeah.
This is 8 from the...
Yep.
Yeah, 8 from the Craterhoof and 4 from each of the 1/1s.
Yep. Looks like in the Reanimator versus Belcher matchup, we have Hunter with Reanimator up a game.
Yeah, probably do a Force of Will.
Yeah, we expect this matchup to not be very favorable for Belcher. He only has 3 Force of Will.
And 2 Thoughtseize.
2 Thoughtseize, a Flusterstorm for days, and just a generally good deck for the combo mirror. Yeah, I think we want to get the GT in front of something.
Yeah. Just get 2 counters on it.
Yes.
That's fine. So this
get to the point where we can gun down this hoof.
This is actually nearly a lethal attack, not quite a lethal attack.
2.
It's going to take JD to 2.
4. Oh, wow, jeez. I miscounted. I thought it was only +2. I mean, it's still not lethal, so...
It's not lethal and there's an active
8.
GT in place, so...
Yeah, it's
going to be tough.
8 times 2 is 16. Yeah, down to 2. So, yeah, JD is going to pretty easily come back out of this life total hole.
Right, there's not another way for Riley to push through damage. Craterhoof is his way to push through damage.
And he's used it. He doesn't have any way to recur it.
No Restoration Angels for this Craterhoof Behemoth.
No. Yeah.
Right,
that's why I think you need the Regal Force last turn. Then drawing 3 cards puts you in a position to chain a bunch of creatures off a Glimpse next turn and potentially pull something out of here.
The problem is that you may not have creatures without Summoning Sickness ever again.
The Craterhoof will always have haste.
Yeah, and that's 1 creature with Trample Bot.
Well, that creature could have 30 power very easily.
Right.
And even if you just put, like, 15 power creatures, that will actually be to GJ. GJ's good at handling a couple creatures.
Oh, wow.
You can definitely race it. Oh, wow. The GJ did not get re-equipped.
Correct.
Stoneforge Mystic finding Batterskull and a flashback Lingering Souls.
Not equipping with the GT. So we'll see if that comes back to bite JD. Although I'm not sure if he's played a land. He might still have a land equipped.
Yeah, it's very possible. He has 1 card in hand besides this Batterskull, it looks like.
Nope, no equip. Riley gets a turn.
Though I don't think he can do much with it. He could draw Regal Force. He is on a 5-outer. 5-outer to put his deck into play.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, more. He's on a 7-outer, 2 more natural orders.
Yeah, that's true. Natural Order may not let Riley put entire deck into play.
Okay.
So, match update. We Peter Johnson up a game against Alex Roberts.
So Omnitel up a game against Rug Delver. Craterhoof Behemoth gets chumped by a Flying Souls token. A Deathrite Shaman comes into play for Riley, likely to get gunned down by this GT. Or at the very least, GT to gain some life to get out of the 2-life range.
For whatever reason, I always think Craterhoof Behemoth always has trample.
No, just has haste.
It has haste.
On note, the Savannah is not supporting any main deck cards. It is, however, supporting a Cyborg Harmonic Sliver and Galactic.
And I would imagine that we're going to be seeing at least the Harmonic Sliver
That's pretty cool.
shortly.
This deck can hardcast Progenitus. There's a Birchlow Rangers in it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever come up, but just
You
so you
gotta
know, it is an
learn.
option on your
Yeah.
on the table. And control has been established. Jite equipped a spirit token. Spirit token attacks. Yeah, so one of the reasons I don't like the no equip last turn is that we put ourselves in a situation where we could have equipped, attacked, and then re-equipped so that we had a untapped blocker with a Jite on it, which is big enough to take down the Crater Hoof.
Yeah, absolutely.
JD passing the turn, ready to put a Batterskull in.
Oh,
Turn this Misty into... Not really sure what. Not anything. Probably just anything. A Verdant.
Perfect. Turn one dual land into another dual land.
Yep. Just, you know, gotta downgrade sometimes. The other one made blue, too good for our deck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, at this point, I might have held it. There might be a turn where you want to crop rotation a Gaia's Cradle into another Gaia's Cradle.
Right. If you
and
draw
that's
some
definitely
kind of
more
regal force
value.
yep. Riley's just gonna pack it in. The Jite is gonna take over the game next turn. Yeah, I think there were some key points where both players could have made additional decisions that gave them small chances at hitting more outs, getting hit by less outs. But overall, that was I feel like a somewhat non-representative game of the matchup.
All right, so we're back on. We're gonna have some trivia questions.
We are gonna have some trivia.
Yeah, I have. I'm gonna ask a question shortly here, and you're going to tweet the answer to hashtag SCG Premium. Just
Right
showed
there.
up.
There.
Yep, got it. And if you tweet the correct answer to SCG Premium hashtag, we will select one of the correct answers at random, and they will win 3 months of SCG Premium.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you have a question, it sounds like.
I do have a question. So, in round 9, we saw a bug deck, a blue, black, green deck.
Yeah.
It featured 2 plane chase cards.
Yes.
They're both artifact creatures. And they were both instrumental in getting Kevin Gerhardt to the top 8 of this, as well as Todd Anderson played it in Legacy at the Invitational, if that helps. But name those both of them. I need both of the artifact creatures from the plane chase set featured in Kevin Gerhardt's top 8 deck.
Yeah, they're both really good ones. Cards that took a little bit to break, into the format. One of them is being used right now for a completely different purpose than it was being used for the first time that it was played.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely different purpose. Yeah, the Todd Anderson mention on one of those kind of. Yeah, I think he's played them both in a couple different ways.
Yep. And so send your answers to hashtag SCG Premium.
Yeah. Let's look at some sideboards.
I love sideboarding.
What's Riley have here?
Riley has the aforementioned artifact removal creatures, Harmonic Sliver and Verdant Shaman. One
Probably
copy of
just
each.
the Shaman.
You think just the Shaman?
I think so.
Okay. Definitely wants access to one of them. I actually kind of like access to both. If only because that's the way JD wins these games, with the Jite or the Batterskull.
Do you like Cabal Therapy here?
Somewhat.
I think it's awesome.
Okay.
I think that we can catch a Jite with it off a Mystic.
One of the better uses for it, if JD goes for a Stoneforge Mystic, the equipment often stays in his hand for a turn, enough for Riley to know it's there with Cabal Therapy and be able to get it out of JD's hand. I think it does interrupt the Glimpse with Nature, the threat density of Riley's thing. One thing I'm not sure I like is the Natural Order package.
I think it's necessary for the kill here.
Okay.
I think getting a Crater Hoof just kind of lets you not full combo, just half combo and win. Just have some elves cast Natural Order, they die. I don't like Progenitus. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Progenesis, given that JD cast a main deck Supreme Verdict, I guess they know each other's
They know
list.
list. He knows that JD has Supreme Verdict and 2 more sweepers in the board that we'll talk about in a second. So I don't really like this Progenesis.
Okay, so...
Gadok Teague is not that good.
No?
Mortar Pod, not that great.
Not happening.
Mortar Pod mostly for matchups where they have some kind of...
Moat.
Yes. Mind Break Trap, not happening. Scavenging Ooze, maybe?
I don't think it's a matchup for Scavenging Ooze. If Riley liked Scavenging Ooze in this matchup, he would probably just have it main deck.
Yes. Okay, so probably just some Cabal Therapies and the Viridian Shaman, maybe the Harmonic Sliver.
Mm-hmm. And there's not a ton to take out.
There's some things you can skim counts on usually.
Yeah, you can shave some. You can probably like shave like a Birchlore range or maybe some Deathrite Shamans.
Chris Anderson actually usually shaves a Heritage Druid a lot of the time.
Okay.
He actually was considering shaving it from the deck.
Wow.
Yeah. That really shows you how he plays it.
Mm-hmm.
JD's side, we have Meddling Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially naming, I don't know, Glimpse of Nature, Green Sun Zenith, something good.
Yeah.
Gerard's Verdict.
Gerard's Verdict, basically a black-white, an Orzhov, Hymn to Turok.
Yes.
It's not random,
but
you do gain 3 life when they discard lands. But it's mostly for 2 mana, target players discards 2.
I can honestly say this is the first time I've seen this in an open that is not in a Gerard Fabiano list.
Yeah. I was about to mention the same
Gerard
thing.
Fabiano, for some reason, I don't know why it would
always
be.
plays at least one.
Yes.
Gerard's
in his
Verdict.
Team Italia deck.
Yes.
Pithy Needle, not
happening,
here.
Yeah. They're big ones.
It's just going to fetch lands. I guess it could catch Symbiote.
Mm-hmm. Not generally you could use. You'd rather have a removal spell.
Yeah, you'd rather
such
have...
as the big one, Perish.
Oh, geez.
There's only one copy of Perish.
And a Supreme Verdict.
And a second copy of a Supreme Verdict. Also, there's a sort of Feast and Famine. Not sure how about that. That's mostly for like combo matchups to give you a good piece of equipment. Not for this one. GT is generally just far better than anything.
Batterskull could be bad in the matchup.
Okay, so you could see trading the Batterskull for Feast and Famine.
Okay.
That's fair. It also prevents any
blocks on a GT.
Right.
If we double equip.
Yeah. Pro green.
I've had that come up and it's very obnoxious to deal with for the next player. Spell Snare out.
Yep. It also has very few targets. Like 1 Priest of Titania, Green Sun for 1,
and Elvish
Elvish Visionary.
Yeah, it's not carrying that much weight.
And even things like, I'm not a big fan of Lingering Souls. It's like obviously good with the GT.
Yeah.
But I think you want to lean on like things like Snapcaster Mage, Force of Will, Swords of Plowshares as your main line of... You need the Force of Will.
I actually somewhat disagree here, because I think one of the ways that the Elves deck capitalizes and punishes these decks is it plays a better 1-for-1 game than they do.
Mm-hmm.
So Lingering Souls is a card that doesn't play that same game. It prevents them from sort of chip-shotting you to death, and it gives you a clock. So I think Lingering Souls might be pretty important for the black-white blue deck here.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how he sideboards.
I would imagine like how powerful it is with the GT. He needs that. He needs a Lingering Souls or a Feast or Famine. So I'd imagine he would have both of them in his deck, unless he keeps it to Batterskull. Just like a bunch of things. Like I don't think the Detention Sphere is very good. The Sensei's Top is probably a little on the slow side.
I might actually board out some Force of Wills. They're only ever good when they target Glimpse of Nature.
Right. But I think Glimpse of Nature is so good that it's worth doing. The way he can set out some Force of Wills is if he brings in his Meddling Mages.
I would assume that he would do that. Meddling Mage blocks and attacks.
Yeah. Right, and that's actually fairly important in this matchup because Riley does not have a Pendle Haven.
Right, so 1/1s are not attacking into a 2/2.
Correct. Doesn't even, like, in the top 8, JD no longer has to respect Riley's potential to crop rotation into a Pendle Haven.
Which was a pretty good play out of the old list.
Yeah, I am actually quite surprised that there are 0.
It has to do with Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, meaning all the fetch lands, and you don't have...
You need all the duels, so you can only have these extra slots, and there's 3 cradles, so you'd have to cut a Gaia's Cradle for it.
Yeah.
Which is...
You have to, you have to go below 10 fetch lands, which you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand why it's not there, but I'm surprised it's missing.
Yes. Riley Curran looking like he's joking around.
Yeah.
This list looks similar to. I don't know. The difference between this Elves list and the other ones is very interesting.
Yeah.
It looks.
Natural
almost
Order
like,
is the really big one.
Yeah, Natural Order is the big change, but like, Crater Hoof kind of looks like it's an Emrakul with this big clunky card that you only cast while comboing.
Mm-hmm.
But in play, it's almost like a mirror entity where it's just a card that you can just have to kill them.
Yeah.
And that's because of the Natural Orders.
Right. I do like the avenue that Creator Hub gives. Often with Mirror Entity, it's either a non-combo kill where you just like pass and activate it for 6 and attack with all your creatures, or it's a combo with Wirewood Symbiote.
Yeah, the infinite loops. There's a whole number of them.
Riley's Snap Keeping.
What, was that an actual physical?
I believe it was.
Nice lead on his part.
Yeah. He knows who's talking about his match.
Yeah. The Snap Keeps Adam Prozac.
Yeah,
Watch his podcast.
Yeah, I saw him mouth the word
not
Snap
podcast,
Keeps.
stream. That's what it is these days. Sorry, podcast is like 5 years ago.
Yeah, so last year.
I'm old and behind the times.
Yeah. Me too. It looks like JD's taking a mulligan.
Yeah, maybe just not enough interaction. Maybe just no interaction. It's kind of cool how the Snapcaster Mages, which were one of the ways that JD could reuse his swords to gain an advantage and sort of prevent Riley from creating an on-board kill and forcing him to actually combo, are kind of negated by the 4 Deathrite Shamans in Riley's deck.
Yeah, it's actually amazing how much Deathrite Shaman affects other cards. Like, if you have a Deathrite Shaman play, like, a lot of things are far more difficult than you would expect them to be.
I saw a chart of Deathrite Shaman top 8s versus Snapcaster Mage top 8s.
And they're just like, one's up, one's down.
Yeah, it's just like Snapcaster, huge. Snapcaster, some. Snapcaster, a ton. Deathrite, a couple. Snapcaster, still a ton. Deathrite, a few more. Snapcaster, a bit less.
Yeah.
Deathrite, a few more. Snapcaster, hold steady. Next tournament, Snapcasters, none. Deathrite, all of them.
Yeah.
Just like overnight, people are like, this card's good. We should play it.
Yeah.
What happens when we play against Snapcaster Mage? Oh, they die. Goblin, Piker, or Coral Morphoke? Yeah, that's the one.
Ambush Viper?
Astro Bear?
Astro Bear. We'll
Give him some respect.
yeah,
I'm surprised that that's just
we'll
not a card. It's
compromise on
like
Astro Bear.
1 on a blue, 2 on flash.
Yeah.
Like, just not a card as is.
Well, it needs to let you cast any sorcery or instant from your graveyard.
Yeah, it gets an extra ability. So Riley leads on the Deathrite Shaman we were just talking about.
Aforementioned.
The Misty Rainforest into Bayou. No Wastelands in JD's list, opting for Riptide Lab and Creeping Tar Pit and Caracas as utility lands. So I'm used to seeing Wastelands out of the Stoneblade list, actually. A couple.
I like Mishra's Factory as well.
Okay. So
Creeping Tar Pit serving a lot of that role.
But this lets Riley fetch anything he wants, perfect mana.
Yeah, now that once he knows.
Yes.
And top eights of these open series tournaments are definitely much different.
Full information is huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like one player often gets a huge advantage over the other. It's just like both players.
Is that a Creeping Tar Pit?
It sure is.
There is one Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we have Symbiote off of Bayou, Gaia's Cradle for 2, Courier and Ranger, attack for 1 with Deathrite Shaman. So
this is a solid opening for Riley. It lets him get mildly aggressive with his
creatures. It also lets him do things. Like, he doesn't have to combo. His creatures are just good cards.
The Inquisition. Let's begin.
It's Viridian Shaman. Takes out Riley's artifact destruction, but Riley appears to have Natural Order ready to get a Regal Force.
Should he? So, I mean, it may not be what he wants to do.
It might not be time, especially
Yeah.
because the Crater Hoop is in hand.
Say if Riley has like a mana creature of some variety,
He's actually
he's like close to
if
hard
he has a
casting.
fetch land, he can cast that Crater Hoop.
The Cradle would make 4 with a Dried Arbor.
Doesn't even need a Dried Arbor.
Or 3 without, and 4,
So
5,
3?
6, 7.
Untap the Death Right.
Yeah, you need 3 lands to be able to use the Shaman 3 times.
He only has to use it twice, I believe.
Alright, so Green Sun Zenith for some amount, we're not sure what.
Elvish Visionary, setting up the old Symbiote Visionary engine. And this is one of Riley's huge engines against blue decks.
Yeah. It's strange to me that this is one of the better card drawing engines in Legacy, but it really is.
Yeah, it's just
looping Elvish Visionary with Wirewood Symbiote.
It's a bit more than a Phyrexian Arena because you can bounce it on their turn, bounce it on your turn. It's
Yes.
almost just 2 cards a turn plus untaps.
It's 2 mana for 1 card.
Not even 2 mana because the Symbiote untap nets you a mana. So
Sometimes, yes.
it's really just sort of a free divination every turn. Better than divination because it doesn't even cost you a card.
So that would mean 0 mana floating for Riley.
Yep.
I would imagine that.
So there's a Heath. So what I was talking about is 3 from the Cradle. Let me just double check this math. 3 from the Cradle, 1 from the Bayou, 1 from the land he fetches is 5. Okay, I miscounted 1 short. Okay.
Yeah. But he's definitely in position to cast a Crater Hope Behemoth.
So we have a match update. It looks like Ben Perry's Belcher deck has fallen to Hunter Simter's Reanimator deck, as we expected. Hunter actually started off the tournament by beating the 0-land Belcher deck that we featured a couple times. So that matchup seems very solid for him.
Yeah, the 0-land Belcher deck ended up making top 32.
Top 32? Yep.
Only 2 losses.
He actually lost his last round to potentially be in a position to
draw
or play into top 8. Or second to last round. Yeah.
That's impressive for just like a completely off-the-wall, bizarre combo deck.
So it looks like we have looped the Symbiote, or looped the Visionary. Gonna crack in for some damage here. Interesting that the Quarterfinals Ranger decides to stay home. We didn't play that one this turn, right?
I don't believe he did.
So let's see.
I may have missed a point for something. Brainstorm from JD.
Resolves.
This is one of those situations where I'm not sure I like Natural Order, simply because it represents like a large investment of resources. Like the Crater Hook Behemoth definitely going to be Riley's play next turn.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That even leaves him with an untapped Deathrite Shaman after it's played. Yes.
Yeah. One great thing about this Elves deck is both the Wirewood Symbiote and the Quarterfinals Ranger leave a creature untapped.
Yes.
Or let you untap creatures, so whenever you need to attack with creatures that you use for mana, you have that capability.
Yeah, whichever one you put into play that turn.
Alright, so
I think JD is actually
JD's
at 17, if I have counted correctly.
yeah.
The Deathrite and the Symbiote got in, and the Deathrite got in once before.
Yep.
No fetches. Even if he has a Swords, that Crater Hoop is lethal.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he does. Look like it's Stoneforge Mystic, Vendilion Click, and Detention Sphere.
About time to talk to the Hoof.
Yeah. So, if Riley's is an Inquisition and
opting to
Stoneforge Mystic, try and get his GTA online.
Yep, probably getting. Looks like he's trying to get a Scrubland. Riley untapping to gain 2 life.
Yeah.
Untapping. Where's the mana for that coming from?
He bounced the Elvish Visionary.
Oh, he had an untapped land.
He has an untapped Savannah.
I don't like the bounce of the Elvish Visionary there.
Neither do I. I thought he was just gonna
go for it.
Get hoofed.
He might be saving the hoof for fear of a Force of Will.
But what's he gonna like? both players know it's there.
Sure. I guess if Riley like runs the hoof out there and it gets countered, he's then in a position where if he combos, everything is on the board and doesn't get haste. He has no way to hoof again.
Right.
So he might want to exhaust resources first. But I think he would have just. Or should
Yeah,
have
I
just
feel.
or Visionary draw a card.
He can still forfeit.
Not quite.
quite.
He needs a Heritage Druid.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't even work because it taps all his creatures. We need a Village Bellringer and a Heritage Druid. That's what we need. Prop rotation would do it.
Yep.
The Visionary not having the ability to attack this turn is a big issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Draw. What do we have? We have a Natural Order. We have a hoof.
Yeah.
It's
I
possible
wonder
we're
if
gonna
Natural Order is going to be cast here. Yeah.
sacrifice Quarterfinals Ranger. Does that resolve? I'd like to draw 4 cards. He might just be going bigger. He might just try and hoof for like 40.
Yeah, 80,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like Riley could have just casted like.
That's actually a very significant thing. Is that against this exact list, I guess he could have boarded in Cabal Therapy. Okay, so Peter
Johnson wins 2-0 with his Omniscience Show and Tell deck.
taking down
Alex
Delver,
Roberts and Rug Delver. So
Yeah.
Peter advances to the top 4.
where you will play against some mid-range brew.
Yeah.
Hymn to Torok and Abrupt Decays in his future, and Tarmogoyf and Deathrite Shamans and Cascade creatures. Yep, there's a Cabal Therapy. Looks like it hit the GT. Reveals a Vendilion Click, an Inquisition, and a Detention Sphere.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about this earlier, and I definitely like Cabal Therapy in this exact spot.
I think it's really good in this matchup.
Yeah, just in this situation where you know what you can hit, you know a card in their hand, and it's also one of the best cards that you want to get rid of.
Yeah, this play may have been a bit more conservative. It lets Riley clear the way for the hoof for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we said, if the hoof gets forced, he cannot win on the turn that he combos.
Sure.
Let's see. In theory, it's possible to get your Deathrite Shamans all into play and then get all of your instants and sorceries into your graveyard and set up a situation where you virtual Rangers to generate a ton of black mana to burn them out. But Chris Anderson and I talked about this, and we determined it was extremely difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're gonna loop this Visionary here, get another card. Deathrite Shaman eating 2 lands. It's a glimpse drawn for Riley. So next turn could take a while, or it could take 5 seconds, who knows. JD could also top deck a Sweeper. He top decks a Thoughtseize.
I mean, here's the thing
Thoughtseize
about not
Inquisition.
casting your Crater Hoof.
It's gone.
And yeah, you're not going to.
Yeah.
So Riley is not going to have an excessive attack this game.
Not with Crater Hoof, at least.
Right.
He could just put all of his creatures in play and attack with them that way. But then again, that gives JD a chance to
draw one of his parishes or supreme verdicts.
3 outs. 3 is
Yeah,
a
no,
lot
it's
more
more
than
like-
0.
I mean, I think JD's got a pretty obvious line here of Thoughtseize plus, and then he has to decide between
Click and Inquisition.
Click and
He's gonna
Detention
Inquisition
Sphere.
first. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that kind of locks him into Thoughtseize.
Yep. Looks like I would guess the glimpse is going down.
Yeah, I would too. So cards in here are Deathrite, Heritage Druid, Crater Nettle Sentinel, Crater Hoof, Heritage Druid.
So yeah, you cannot leave Riley with a glimpse with his hand.
Now,
That is going to draw him approximately
11 billion.
Yeah, I was about to say about 45 cards. He probably stops around there. Oh no, he's already drawn a few, maybe like 33.
Yeah.
Probably about the range it's going to draw.
Maybe not that one in particular, but the one following. Maybe some Visionaries drawing some cards.
Yeah, maybe that glimpse exactly won't draw.
But Riley will draw as many cards as he so desires.
Yeah. So you can't let him have that, and I don't think you can let him have the hoof, and I don't think you want the hoof in his deck. You know his list, you know there's no way for him to get it back.
Yeah, there are no eternal witnesses. in Riley's deck.
That's a very interesting problem to run into here.
Yeah. I think this deck is we talk about what's possible in Riley's deck because
Is that
that's
a go?
Oh, it's a
We're gonna draw step Vendilion and put the hoof on the bottom, but
what did it draw? A land, I believe.
yeah. But I don't like that. We now have 8 Crater Hoof Behemoths or 7 Crater Hoof Behemoths in our deck instead of 0.
Mm-hmm.
Really hoping Riley draws a Green Sun Zenith here just to sort of prove the point.
Yeah. And if you're Riley, actually kind of hoping you can kill him without doing that, so he might make the same mistake.
Sure.
In the future, like if Riley just top decks a natural order, or you're just going to be like, maybe I should have thought seized.
Yeah. Sure.
And might not do it in the future.
I think Riley's just gonna attack with his 5/5.
Yeah.
Drop his hand. Maybe hold back a little bit around a sweeper.
Yeah. Maybe this might be my inexperience with the elf deck drawing, but if I'm right,
Oh, there's a natural order.
Yeah, I'm looking for something to get him there like as soon as I can.
As soon as now.
Yeah. So it looks like he's
interesting though. Riley didn't know that there was a incoming Thoughtseize, so like JD does have an unknown card in his hand.
I can clear the way with Cabal Therapy.
Exactly. So Riley tapping all of his creatures, putting them into play from his hand. And this game is going to end right here.
He also actually knows that there's not a Force of Will.
How?
Because there's not a blue. Oh, there's a Detention Sphere.
Yes.
Sorry.
So Elvish Visionary getting looped. Oh, there's a Glimpse. Doesn't matter. We don't have a creature. We do have a creature. Glimpse of Nature, float 1, 2. Heritage Druid, float 1. And just going off because we can go off. Oh, there's a Harmonic Silver. So we in the booth know that that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you show it to him. I think we just
absolutely
hoof for the entirety of the hoof. Sacrificing Deathrite Shaman because who cares? Even though it's a better creature. You do not have a Force of Will, Natural Order, and hoof. For all of it.
For quite a bit.
Yes. On to game 3. Yeah, so that exact play we talked about where because the hoof is in his deck, he can access it again. That happened.
Yeah. So I'm really questioning my. I think he was not a favorite that game. Even if he gets rid of the hoof. Riley had a lot of things going on, and JD did not.
But it gives him the ability to draw something to win, as opposed to being just
they get to continue playing the game.
Correct.
As opposed to Riley just being able to draw at Green Sun Zenith or Natural Order and just kill JD on the spot.
Which is what happened.
Yeah.
Elvish Visionary Loop is a very powerful Muldrifter every turn. Yeah. I'm just sitting here looking at this Recross the Past deck. It's way too cool.
It's not bad.
Not bad. I still haven't figured out the full sideboard for Belcher.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, on that.
We're working on it.
I wonder what kind of responses we got.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are the best 15-card sideboards you can make for a Belcher deck that's not going to access its sideboard? Ben Perry definitely made full use of the 15 slots, and I can't really fault him for using his resources.
In a Magic.
And you are not required to not have a sideboard if you play Belcher. Yeah. Hit a bribery. The bribery is way too cool.
All right, so we have an update from the
Looks like the Jund deck managed to take a game from the Jund killer.
Yeah, Paul Morelli with his Jund deck managed to take a game, and they're going to game 3 against Kevin Gerhardt and his bug mid-range trumper.
Yep. Jund still alive to win both major American events this weekend. Currently, as you mentioned, won the Grand Prix. Oh, it did not? I was informed incorrectly. Oh, wow. It appears that it looks like Vidianto Wijaya with Esperblade won the Grand Prix.
Oh wow, one of my favorite.
Yeah, Vidianto Wijaya.
He's actually a
former
fixture.
versus pro circuit. Was he two-time champion or was it back-to-back finals that he had?
Back-to-back finals.
Back-to-back-to-back?
Yeah.
3 in a row?
Nah.
Wow.
He's also a fixture on the Open Series. He's LA based.
Yes.
And he's a good guy. And
Stoneblade is definitely his deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He has all the cards in foil.
Yeah, he works for a card shop, so
he has
access. Yeah, to some nice decks.
Not for free for sure, but he definitely has access to people who have access to the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, congratulations, Vidianto.
Yeah, Vidi's a good guy.
Yeah. Same.
He's
So meanwhile, we have a game 3 with JD Neer on the play.
With the Stoneblade deck.
With the aforementioned Stoneblade deck. I would think that now is a bad time to be casting Snapcaster Mage, but JD and VD have proved me wrong, and made it to the elimination rounds with their Snapcaster Mages in tow.
VD also opting not to run Wastelands in his list, so
maybe there's something to that.
Yeah. Also a lot of the same singletons. Supreme Verdict in the main. It's definitely a deck where you have a lot of options about which cards you want to run in order to, optimize your chances.
And so Tundra leads it off for JD in this final game of our quarterfinal match. And Riley leads off with his big game card, Deathrite Shaman.
JD, no 1-drop, but there isn't really a 1-drop in his deck.
Not too much. Basically, it would be an end of turn Swords of Plowshares, not the strongest thing in the world.
That's not really the target for it.
Yeah.
Interesting that he's choosing to fetch here instead of play the dual land.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with that.
I think if your opponent has a Deathrite Shaman, you need to minimize their chances of activating it at every point possible.
Yep.
If you can. Yeah,
you're not going to not play a land and not use your land.
They already have a fetch in the grave.
But JD has a Tundra in his hand that he did not need to use.
Just a duel.
Yeah,
Looks
Riley
like
did not.
Stoneforge on 2 for a GT. So, part of what JD needs to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, now's what time is it? Cabal therapy time.
Apparently, the Grand Prix was won by a spirit token attacking for 14 turns while both players drew blanks.
Okay.
Fun times.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did not have to commentate that match.
I concur.
Instead, we get to watch interesting things happen and spells get cast.
Yeah, various 1/2s.
Yeah.
We are upgrading we're ratcheting up the power level from 1/1 to 1/2. Yeah. We have a pair of 1/2s that are all right.
Yeah, not format defining or anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Not really banned anywhere or.
You heard it here first. Ari wants Deathrite Shaman banned.
Whoa. I've said a lot of things. I may have been one of the original supporters of a Wild Nakano ban anywhere. But Deathrite Shaman is not quite that crazy.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. So,
looks like
Green Sun for 2.
Elvish Visionary time?
Likely.
That's kind of interesting because I think it kind of implies that we have an answer to the GT in our hand.
Maybe it could just imply like some very weak, a weak hand from Riley.
I guess. I would just save the Zenith for Viridian Shaman though.
Okay.
We do need to kill this GT.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
the problem with Viridian Shaman or Harmonic Sliver is it's going to
wait for the GT to hit once because Stoneforge Mystic gives it flash.
Basically.
Or effectively flash.
Alright, so a Swords of Plowshares for JD. Excellent draw.
That is a huge play. Or a huge draw. There's that Tundra.
It doesn't need to necessarily be cast this turn, even though it might have the mana for it. It's a Vendilion Click and a Gerard's Verdict.
And a batter skull already.
Right. Wow, so
And a detention sphere.
quite the hand. Yeah, detention sphere being on JD's weaker side.
One of the worst cards in his hand.
Oh.
Is he debating casting a spell here?
If you were to cast a spell, it should probably be Vendilion Click.
Yes.
That way is that he can maintain his disruption. Okay, Swords of Plowshare is going to target something. Apparently, he's really eager. Really eager to cast this. If you don't know what you're targeting, don't cast your spell.
Yes, Deathrite Shaman. Riley up to 20 life. Swords is power, correct?
It is. So,
I always mix that one up with Condemn.
Yeah, because Condemn is toughness.
Yeah, played with Condemn far more than Swords. In case you couldn't tell. 1 mana for a replacement Deathrite Shaman. A Dryad Arbor comes into play.
So, looks like we're going to see
the GTA into play.
Wonder what Riley has. Maybe the crop rotation, which would be huge.
That would be a very good trick. Just jump out and get JD.
Yeah. Maybe just want something to triple block and kill the Stoneforge Mystic.
I think
he
you only
doesn't
need
actually have
block.
a way. He doesn't want. He wants to play around a second.
That's
Swords
fair.
of Plowshares.
If you use a sword that early, that kind of signifies that you have another, maybe.
Yeah, even though JD doesn't.
Though I mean, just looking at the situation, like if you have the swords here, you get to play around crop rotation. You can just sword the Dryad Arbor.
But you would lose your Mystic in the process.
But then you have a GTA.
Yeah, you have a GTA with counters.
Though I guess JD might, he might want to lose the Mystic with the Batter Skull.
Right.
So he may have. Nope. We're gonna suit up and try and clear the board. I think Riley definitely does not single block. That is the one thing he does not do.
Yeah.
I think we double block with the.
I would triple block.
We would triple block.
I think if you double block with something, so Riley's choosing to not block.
Okay.
A glimpse of nature, eh?
Okay. Let's see how this goes. Deathrite. 4.
Natural order.
We're natural ordering for our Viridian Shaman, are we? I would assume it's Viridian Shaman, right?
Unless he cited the Progenitus for a reason that unbeknownst to me. But
yeah, okay.
You are correct.
Viridian Shaman takes down GTA and...
Interesting to note that the last count on the GTA did not get to... Could have killed the Elvish Visionary.
Did not.
But did not.
Just kind of didn't happen.
Right. So that leaves Riley with a extra Deathrite Shaman in play.
That looks like a Force of Will.
Wow. So what I would have done if I were JD, if Riley goes to activate his Deathrite Shaman, I respond to it making a mana.
Yeah, a lot of people don't consider that because they don't realize Deathrite Shaman is not a mana.
Actually, yeah. So while JD only has 3 lands, his hand is completely stacked.
Yes.
He can only do one thing a turn, but the Force of Will actually lets him do a second thing, which is very, very powerful here.
I think this turn he's opting for Batter Skull or Vendilion Click.
Yeah, likely Batter Skull is my guess.
Definitely not a Vendilion Click if Riley has been able to do enough things.
Yeah. If Riley's played a land, I think JD is the type of person that would... He passes the turn.
Interesting.
Huh.
Batter Skull into play. Again, the gain life not so much of an issue for Riley.
Right.
It's really just the 4/4.
Mm-hmm. This puts a reasonable clock. The Vendilion Click does the same type of thing.
Yeah. Team up, apply some pressure. Riley can gain some life back with Deathrite Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what he's going to try and do. Play a little bit defensive, try and buy some time for an actual combo off turn.
Yeah.
Because it looks like 3 cards from a natural order is not quite enough.
Yeah, it looks like Riley has a second natural order in his hand.
This could also be setting up for a situation where he gets to bounce the Shaman and take out a Batter Skull if mana gets tied down.
Mm-hmm. What happened? I'm looking at maybe 2 glimpse with natures, but not a creature.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a Gerard's Verdict in JD's hand still. So take out the Swords of Plowshares with the Deathray Shaman, basically signaling that JD does not have a Snapcaster Mage in his hand.
Right. Snapcaster Mage would have been cast in response just to get a use out of it.
Right, right.
Let's see. So, probably just going to do Vendilion, click on draw step here, you think?
Likely. That would be my best guess. That will let JD know what's up and know that Riley's hand is a little weird.
Yeah. Looks like we have a Glimpse, a Natural Order, a Regal Force.
Just do the Regal Force. Wow.
2 Glimpses. He drew the Cradle. He had the Regal Force.
Okay, yes. Regal Force actually not too bad here.
No? Just gonna cast it.
Cast Regal Force.
It's actually kind of interesting. I don't know if I ship Nothing or the Force, but I think it has to be one of those two.
Yes. Man.
But if the Force turns into any 1-mana elf, JD could very easily turn into dead.
Yes.
I guess he does have the Force of Will, though.
Right, he has a Force of Will and a Detention Sphere.
I think we just ship Nothing. Riley laying out the legal options. You may not take both Glimpse of Natures.
Yeah.
Though JD may respond with, I want to take the one over there.
Yeah, that's what I do. Riley's not going to let him.
Yeah, I think we just take Nothing. Force down the Regal Force.
Yeah. Okay. That's the worst card.
No, we're going to take the second Glimpse.
No, I would have rather taken the Glimpse, honestly. So Riley has a mana with Deathray Shaman, 2 mana with a Gaia's Cradle, and that's good for Regal Force for 3.
Yep, any 1-drop creature he draws is also effectively free because it adds a Gaia's Cradle mana.
However, given that Riley has 2 Glimpse with Natures, I probably would have cast it.
Yeah, you will cast those both, lead into the 1-drop, and just try and go off right here, I think.
Okay.
Or at least I would. Glimp, yep.
He's going with
There we go. Let's get this party started. Glimpse again. Is that good? Does in fact stack. Finhorn Elves. I'd like to draw 2 cards.
The Natural Order turned into a card that's far better than Natural Order in this situation.
Yes.
A 1-mana elf.
Gaia's Cradle. 3.
3.
Visionary.
That's draw 3.
1 mana floating.
Yeah, JD's been a nice enough guy to...
We're just
giving
sequencing our
us
Visionary draws in the right order.
Alright,
So we have access to 2 mana right now?
3.
3
1 floating, Deathray Shaman, Bayou.
Yeah, I forgot about the 1 floating.
Yes.
We have played our land.
The dice at the top of the screen is the mana floating.
So is it green floating?
This will probably be another, maybe a Green Sun Zenith.
Interesting.
This gets Heritage Druid.
Yes.
This
X equals 1, and that resolved.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so JD's just going to die with his Force of Will in his hand.
Very likely. I think you had to force that right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
That was where you should have cut him off.
Mm-hmm.
3 mana. What is that? Nettle Sentinel?
I believe so.
Riley would like to draw 2 cards. And this should be enough.
Yeah.
Or enough to start being enough. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I always like to see the elf deck combo off.
Yeah. 2 mana floating.
So at some point Riley will need to either play it. If he wants to start, right now he's treading water, cycling his elves.
Draw 2. Well, he has the Sentinel over there, so.
Right.
3.
That's Wireless Symbiote.
Okay, and this should be over. Yep, and as we expected, Kevin Gearhart comes back. Well, not comes back, but takes the 3rd game of that set. And the anti-Jund Grinder deck is
Yeah,
going to be facing up against Combo in the top 4.
Uh-oh.
I think I want to watch that matchup because if it looks... Yeah, this matchup looks like it's going to be Reanimator versus Elves. I want nothing to do with that.
No. Alright, so right now Riley has 3 Elves in his hand. Or 3 Nettle Sentinels in play. Every spell he casts basically draws 2 cards. Generates...
and he's really at this point just digging for a Cabal Therapy in the Virtual Rangers. So that he can clear the way for the Hoof.
Mm-hmm. The Virtual Rangers is needed to...
Actually, he doesn't even need a Virtual Rangers. He has the Deathrite Shaman active.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I believe there is a landing graveyard. There may or may not be.
Yeah, there was at the beginning of the turn.
Okay, it's just a land in graveyards?
Yeah. There is a land in the graveyard.
Okay. So, yeah, we're just kind of fiddling around with our cards here, seeing how big we can go.
Yeah.
You know, if your opponent lets you keep playing, you may as well see, set a new record.
Right.
I mean, that's why some of the Storm players play Grape Shot.
Yeah.
See how big you can get.
So he wants to cast all of his Green Suns for 0, I believe, or maybe all of them for nope. Just,
yeah, because they're.
No, they're effectively free with the. Nettle Sentinel is a shortcutting.
Yeah.
See if we can.
The Crater Hoof is going to get countered. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So basically, Riley just thought the path was clear. Now he will. So Riley kind of.
Whoops.
Kind of messed that up.
And there's the Supreme Verdict.
Well, it's getting discarded, but.
You would like to cast Mind Twist. I think at this point you start like bouncing the creatures that you want to have in your hand.
Yeah.
After there is a Birchlore in play. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once Riley started just plopping creatures into play, one of those creatures was the Birchlore Rangers, so he can make all the black mana that he wants. However, yeah, Riley got a little sloppy there.
Kills the Batter Skull.
Yeah,
he needs to draw 2 Cabal Therapy.
I believe you need to draw 2 cards with the.
Does not have to. He is allowed to. Well, he's not allowed to forget intentionally, but he is not penalized for forgetting on accident.
Okay.
1 shot.
Well, 0 shot. Oh, at Parish.
Not a Parish. That's game.
Yeah.
Riley Curran advances to the semifinals, facing down Hunter Sumter, playing Reanimator. Not traditionally a strong matchup.
No. So, a quick preview of that one. Alice Norn grants Unibite.